We're here in Montreal at Ubisoft, and I'm Patrice Deslay, the creative director of Assassin's Creed. We're gonna go with the team and show you what we're doing. So hope you enjoy it. Come on. So guys, before we go and check out the team and what I do for a living, let's talk about the game I'm making with these guys called Assassin's Creed. The game Assassin's Creed will be out this fall. We've been working on it since 2004, so almost 4 years. It's been a while. The backstory of Assassin is an historical setting. We recreated the Holy Land, so Palestine, Israel, and that setting in 1191, which is the medieval time during the Third Crusade. And you play an assassin, Altair, who's part of that brotherhood of open-minded people, let's say. And you have tasks that your leader, Al-Mualim, asked you to do because you weren't a really good assassin, and now you have to redeem yourself by killing 9 targets. My favorite aspect of the game is that I can play Altair or the assassin the way I want. If I want to be really calm and low profile in the world, I can do it. And then when it's time to be badass and fight, I can just switch and now be that really action-packed character. You're the co-creator of the experience, let's say. That game is made by around between 150 and 200 people. So we're gonna go and check all the teams. There's like around 10 different teams, all separated by feature. So let's go, guys. This is the Hollywood team. They're responsible for making the cinematic moments in the game. Right here you have the leader of the team, Fred.
Hi guys.
And you have Dan, the director of the camera and shot. Before each target there's like a presentation of the target, and they're in charge of making those scenes. So at first the game looks like this, right? It's all in gray and not a lot of color. And then when you put everything together, you got this, which is the real thing. So there's a lot of imagination going on at first. This is that they're called cinematic moments or must-see cinematic. And you have control over your character, so you're watching a scene, but you're also playing it. The gameplay here is basically to be actor.
Most of the time you're in the crowd looking at the scene and seeing who's the target and what he does. And after that you can like study him, and after that you can kill him by studying his movement, his behavior.
Vous êtes aussi subtil que 2 éléphants dans une...
Is that cool? What? It's all about love. Okay, so now we just saw the Hollywood team. We're gonna go see the Kingdom team, who are responsible for the Kingdom part, which is like traveling around cities, but also tutorials. Let's go. See, this is all the collision of a map. So, see, this is the graphic, and this is what the computer is really like processing. And then when you put the visual on it, it's quite different. So I think it's pretty cool. Like, this is not what you see when you play, but this is actually what's going on for real. So Matt here is a level designer, and his job is to put all those points and make sure that it makes sense and it's in a linear fashion without being so linear. So it's not easy to do, but he's got great tools to do so. Right now we're going to go and talk with the lead level designer and one of the level designer about crowds, how they manage to put those 100+ NPCs in the map, and how we do our thing. Okay, follow me. David here, David Chateauneuf, lead level designer. He's going to approve the work of Malik. So how it works, it's pretty much like we do a blueprint, right? Like level designers, the script writers and everything, we sit down for 3 weeks. Lead level designer make an Excel sheet of all the ingredients, and then level designer take those ingredients and put that in the engine, in the editor, green lines there. This is where the crowd gonna walk around and they're using those crowd flow, and then we play, test it, but it's really a long process until we've got what we play, basically. So thanks guys, I don't want to disturb you much more than that. Sorry. Because I got, that was the handshake of the assassins, and the other day one of the guy had like, how do you call that, a ring, and he hurt me, so now each time I'm doing the assassin handshake, I hurt myself. Anyway. Everybody does. It's like this.
And the explosion is important at the end. The explosion is like
really important.
Everything's like all the emotion.
Now we can do it in slow motion. Let's talk about the main character. To make sure that it's accessible and playable by everyone, and that's what we're talking about with Philippe Dion, who's the block designer for the city team.
Everything is interactive, so you can jump on everything that you see, you can climb, and you have also a lot of gameplay on walls. The same thing with beams, with awnings, with architecture elements.
There's a lot of like automatization in the character. It's not like the player has to press every single time.
So right now you see that all the yellow lines, like I don't know if you can see it.
He has detected this white box. That means that from here you can jump in that box. Basically, do I have a white box in my yellow one? Yes. Then I can jump if the A button is pressed.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna go and see the same type of thing, but for the fight. An Englishman in Montreal. How do we choose to fight moves and sequence?
Alex wanted everything to flow well together. Originally we had a very overcomplicated system, so we simplified it down so you were coming in like up right directions, up left directions, and so everything flowed really well together.
With Assassin and with Altair, you can really feel the weight, and that, yes, he's got really cool move, but it feels real.
There's no real swinging around, it's all realistic,
yes,
but
so
it's interesting.
Yeah. And the violence is real too.
Yes.
It's the way it's portrayed, like it's like you feel the blade coming in and you feel like it's stuck a little bit, and you feel like the guy receiving the blow a little bit jiggy sometimes.
And the real fun comes with doing some of the kill moves as well, because we have to be realistic, brutal, and there's moves that even make me cringe.
It's all about openings also. Us, we wanted like ping, 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 and then a final blow, and this is when you go inside the body and the guy's dead.
Yeah.
So that was the real challenge, to make it playable, fun, and...
That's the hard thing, is making a realistic game fun. But I think we've nailed it.
Okay guys, I think you've seen enough. It's time to get out of here.
Hi everyone, my name is Patrice Desilets and I'm the creative director of Assassin's Creed. Today I'm here to talk to you about freedom. Right from the beginning of conception on how we would do a next generation game, it was really important that the player could go anywhere and interact with everything. In Assassin's Creed, you can experience your freedom in 3 big cities: Jerusalem, Acre, and Damascus. And you have a big kingdom to travel between all those 3 cities. The way we did our cities was basically to have a lot of blocks that are already with its own gameplay. So we have buildings where everything is interactive and it works, but also we have other ingredients that the character can interact with that are all architecture elements. So there's some beams, there's some poles. Merchant stand are also interactive. So it's a bunch of different ingredients that are all historically accurate that you put together and you build a city. And you don't even realize that it's all level design ingredients since they're all in the art direction. The social aspect of our game is using common sense or organic design. So if you start bumping people around in real life, you'll probably have some cops after you. It's the same thing in our game. If you start running and use your tackle move, after a while some soldiers will come and they will try to arrest you. But you have some blades and we'll see what happens after that. So everything you can do with your freedom is basically driving the story forward. In a sense, our big sandbox is more like a flower box in which everything is well placed to experience your freedom in a narrative structure. Here at the entrance of Garnier Mission, you have the guard post, and you have a choice. Do I get in by fighting, like killing all the guards in front of me, or I can climb the entrance walls and then do some acrobatics to pass by the guards, or I can use the monks that I freed just before that and enter without being noticed. So just to summarize, you are Altair, the master assassin of the Third Crusade, and you can play that character the way you want it to be played and create your own experience.
Hey, my name is Jade Raymond, and I'm the producer on Assassin's Creed. One of our main objectives was to, of course, make the art direction as realistic and as close to the historical references that we found. But the difficulty about, having a subject where guys walk around in armor and look like knights and stuff like that is that it tends to be associated with fantasy. And one of the important things to us was making sure that the game and the feeling and the location was really relevant to people. So we played with taking these historical cities, like the ones that I was describing in the story, Jerusalem, Damascus, and Acre, and all of the countryside and the kingdom, and thought, how can we give this a treatment that feels cool and feels like something that we'd be interested in watching for 40 hours as we play. Now, we've made a huge kingdom, 3 huge cities, and it could easily get repetitive, and we didn't want that to happen. These cities in medieval times were bustling with all kinds of people, all walks of life. You have to have the poor citizens, you have to have the rich class, you have to have the merchants. These cities are being controlled mostly by the military, and basically this amounts to a whole lot of characters to create. But we have over 300 different characters to create, and that's just the completely unique versions. On top of that, we wanted to make sure that when you're going through these cities, you don't see the same person a bunch of times. So a big focus for the team was the crowd, and basically we had to put a lot of energy not only into the gameplay, but how they look. And that means that the art director and the whole art team had to put a lot of time into thinking how we would make this crowd interesting. We invented this all brand new character based on the assassins, but we also wanted to give him a look and personality all of his own. So the first reflection was, in terms of gameplay, our core gameplay loop, what is the assassin doing most of the time? Well, what you're doing is you're investigating, so you're mapping out your territory, really trying to pinpoint and locate your prey, and then once you focus in on your prey, you go in quickly for the kill, and then you get out of there. And when we thought of what you're doing most of the time as an assassin, it made us think of a bird of prey. So that became the inspiration for Altair. And in fact, Altair means flying eagle, or the flyer in Arabic. If you notice, he's wearing a hood which has a little point in the front, and he has a robe that kind of splits out on the sides, and when he's in movement the sides flip up, and if you were to look at a shadow cast from the side of him, you'd get the angle of the point of the hood and then the sides of the skirt flapping up, and you'd get the shadow of an eagle. So Altair really is the bird of prey. Okay, so Assassin's Creed takes place during the Third Crusade. The exact year is 1191. You play Altair, a master assassin who is a member of the original clan of assassins. Actually, the term assassin comes from this clan. They were called the Hashishin, which is thought to be maybe followers of Hassan, the old man of the mountain, the guy who started up this clan. Maybe users of Ashish. Your mission is to track down, find, and take out 9 key guys who are architecting the Crusades, actually making the war and the population suffer and making it bad for everyone. So you've got to hunt these guys down and take them out. We've recreated all of the Holy Land, so a huge kingdom that includes all of the major cities as they existed back then, recreated exactly as they were in the year 1191. We worked with a historian to find all of the reference material. And the guys that you take out are actually historical figures who died during the year 1191. Maybe not killed by assassins, but they could have been. You start out basically in Masyaf, which is the base in Syria that the assassins used there. And you go down and explore basically the whole kingdom. There's Acre, there's Damascus, there's Jerusalem. Probably most people have heard of Jerusalem. Acre is the city at the time that Richard the Lionheart had recently taken over. It's right by the water. And Damascus is a city that was more or less the whole time controlled by the Saracens. So that's more traditional Arabic style. And throughout these places, you're going to find these key guys and assassinate them. As you do so, you're also going to find out that there's a little bit more that they were up to beyond just profiting from the war. There's actually a conspiracy that you'll uncover, and it has implications all the way to the modern day. But I can't necessarily tell you more, otherwise I'd ruin the surprise. So you have to play the game to find out. So one little thing about the assassins you may want to know before you try and join up to their modern day counterparts is that there's a little sacrifice that's required. And if you look at Altair's main weapon, which is his hidden dagger right here, you're going to notice something in detail that he has a finger missing. And so there's part of the initiation ceremony when you make the transition from novice to assassin that is ready to go out and actually complete his missions. You have this very dramatic experience where a finger is cut off and the hidden dagger is installed. And that is there because most of the assassinations have to be done within the crowd in full view, and you can't be walking around with a whole bunch of obvious weapons if you're going to assassinate people in that context. So it's a sacrifice they were willing to make.